Hi, this is Regina White Favors coming to you with Rebound Relationship Special Topics. This is part of my Life Rebound and Recovery series where I explore particular trending topics and also just everyday relationship topics. Take some time to listen to this audio discussion, maybe gain some insight. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment and I will respond. Also, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the notification button if you're interested in further topics. This is Rebound Relationship Special Topics. Thank you very much for visiting the channel. So, the way that you can respect your no is obvious. Let your yes be yes. Quit going back and forth because that becomes a habit. If you truly believe in the yes that you gave that person, stand by it, right? Whatever that yes is. Yes, I can help you on this day, right? But I cannot help you on the next day. Don't go back and forth and say, well, maybe I can give you some time on the next day too. No, if your yes was only for a day, let your yes be yes, period. If it was for a week, let your yes be yes. We usually find conflict or experience conflict when it comes to, family relationships, right? So we have a brother, we have a sister who wants us to babysit. And, we had a hard week. It was tiring. And we really don't want to do it. But if we do it, we only really kind of have it to commit for maybe like one day. Well, what happens is we start to feel sorry and feel bad that we can't give more. And so we will volunteer an extra day, knowing that we are tired, that we are truly tired and don't have the time to do it. So if you only can commit to something, you set the boundary, whatever the boundary is, you set it. You have every right to set the boundary, whatever that is. So if you can only commit to something for a day, let your yes be yes. Don't go back and forth. Even if your next day clears up, that is your day. But if you tell the person one day and only that one day, and then you come back and tell the person, oh, I can do it on the next day too, the person will always rely on you to be the type of person who has, has your time open. Your time is limited. You have every right to manage your time in the way that you want to manage your time. And it does not always include being there for everybody. So let your yes be yes. Don't go back and forth because then it will become a habit and then it will likely affect you in other areas as well. So guard your experiences and activities when some things require time and long-term work ethic. So sometimes people try to get you into things before your time. Sometimes you try to get yourself into things before your time. But each experience, each activity, each thing that you involve yourself has its own timing and season. And there are some things that require long-term sustainable work ethic, period. And like for instance, you have you're in school, right? And you have like a math class, and then you have your classes you take in your major. Well, you may not care so much about the math class. You just care enough to pass. So you may not give it a whole lot of time. You give it whatever time you can to get a good grade out of the class. But when you get to the classes in your major, you have to care about those classes. If it requires you to write a paper, if you have an assignment that requires you to write a paper and that's going to take time to write that paper, then you have to tell your friend, I'm not available. For the weekend, I need to get this paper out, or I need to go to the library. I need to study, whatever it is. And I like the academic context because that's the one that people tend to challenge the most. People tend to interrupt your learning process and progress. And then you in turn, as a result of them interrupting you, you in turn procrastinate your learning process and progress. But you have to know the difference between something that takes a short-term learning activity, attention span, and that takes a long-term learning activity and attention span. And that's what I mean when you need to guard your experiences and activities. Let's take it to the workforce context, right? When you are at entry level, right, you're trying to prove yourself, and that's a short term. Short term could be 1 year, 2 year, all the way to 5 years, right, for entry level. But then if you want to move up, you know that you got to do the dance, right, to move up. You have to sort of learn at the new level. You have to be more available and flexible with your time. You're trying to build, a reputation for yourself, and you're trying to kind of impress the bosses, things like that. Well, that takes time, and people like to come in between that time and say, "Oh, you don't need to move up. Just be a good person." But you can be a good person and move up too. So there are certain experiences every time you get to the next level of anything. There are certain experiences and activities that you need to guard. That if your no is a no because you need to plan your next level, you don't want to stay at entry level forever, then you have every right to plan your next level. And that's going to also require long-term work ethic, because the next level is going to require maybe like you investing another 5 years. It might require some additional education. I've always said I can't have problems on my job. When I was in my 20s, I had problems on my jobs. I had friends who try to get me into stuff and things like that. I can't do that today because I have professional goals. I have personal goals, and later I will return to school for my PhD. And so I have goals, and I can't let a person get in the way of that. So you have to guard your experiences and activities. So respecting your no will require you to be proactive about information gathering. So when you interpret answers, accuracy is important. You know, um, I used to be the type of person who just volunteered, raised my hand. Here, I do it, sure, no problem. But I never quite got the full sense of the situation the person was having. Where we volunteer a lot of times is with our money. So someone comes to us and asks us, can I borrow, $50 or something like that, right? And so we look at our finances and we say, well, we have $50. Sure, I give you $50. Now, we haven't asked the person a question. And we don't ask because we don't want to be offended. I mean, we don't want to offend the person, right? But we should offend, because why is it that you need to ask me $50? Now, all of us have had issues where we had to ask for help. We had to probably move in with someone, have a roommate, all that kind of good stuff, right? But as you get older, you can't just so easily give over your money like that. So we have to be proactive about why we are doing what we are doing. So I've had a personal experience in my 20s, and everyone I think has had this experience. Someone asks you for money. It looks like they really need the money. And then the next day, the next work day, they come to the job with their hair fixed, right? The hair done, new nails, new shoes or something like that, right? And I'm thinking to myself, so where did you get the money to get your hair done? Because you said you needed money, right? Because if you need money, you don't need money to get your hair done. You can do your own hair until you can get some more money. But you shouldn't use somebody else's money to meet your lifestyle. And that's exactly what they did. They didn't want to use their $50, whatever the money is. They didn't want to use their $50 to pay their hair, to pay for their hair. They wanted to use your $50. And I remembered that lesson, and it bothered me. And so some years later, you still have experiences, because even though something can bother you, you can still have experiences. But I started to, there came a time when I shut my mouth. When someone said something, oh, I wish this, I wish that, I didn't respond, because I had gotten to a point in my life that I was tired of people pleasing, and that I was tired of giving stuff to people who I knew had other people that they could ask, or I knew they had the money. There are some people who just don't spend their money. And those types of people have a lot of money, but they will be bold enough to ask you to give them money even when they have money. So that's why I say be proactive about information gathering. Sometimes you don't even have to ask them a question. Just shut up. I promise you, the answer to the problem will reveal itself. If you shut up long enough, they will reveal that they got the money to serve their need. Now, I'm not talking about people who actually have a need. Those are different types of people, right? But after a while, you have to ask yourself, so how many times are you going to have to ask me, for this particular thing? At what point? We work on the same job. We make the same kind of money. At what point are you going to save, for that particular issue, right? So be proactive about information gathering, so that you can interpret and answer accurately. A lot of times these people have what they need when they're asking you for something. A lot of times they're not asking for a need, they are asking for a want. So respect your no means caring about your direction. When knowing where to take yourself is key, that you care about your direction in the sense that giving someone something or not respecting your no puts you on a different path. Here it is, you're trying to get to life wellness, or say for instance, financial wellness, right? And every time you turn around, someone is asking you for something. Or you're trying to get to life wellness, and every time you turn around, they're trying to run you down emotionally, and psychologically. That goes for sort of like a romantic relationship, that goes for a friendship. If you know where you want to take yourself, and that's a particular direction, and that direction could be to the next level, that means you may have to start cutting people off. That you cannot take everyone everywhere where you are going. And that you have to be careful about the people around you. You have to keep your circle very small, right? Because the more people you have in your circle, the less likely you'll be able to get anything done. Two, if you may have to begin thinking about an image that you want to create for yourself going forward. And what type of direction is that, right? So that means you may have to look for people who look like what you want to become. And that takes some time to study them, right? To study what they have done so that you can take yourself to the next level. So you may have to respect your no, that even if you are sentimental about previous relationships, previous family relationships, previous encounters, that you may have to say, I cannot replicate that at the next level, because it might have worked only for the level that I was on, for the season, for the time, but for where I'm going, those are different experiences. Those are, different directions. As you move up, you get more focused. So knowing where to take yourself is key. And then have the courage to say no. When saying no without explanation reveals growth. It took me a long time. I started to realize that I was a people pleaser while I was in college, and I remember exactly the day and how the day looked and everything. I was walking down the campus, and I was going towards the library, and just the words people pleasing just came to mind. And it's not like I sought that out as if I understood what those words mean. It just came to mind, and I knew that's who I was at that time, the role that I was serving with other friends and family members. And I said to myself, I had to begin challenging that argument, that I no longer wanted to be a people pleaser. Now, I'm not saying the first encounters that I started to say no immediately. No, I didn't. But I recognized the relationships that I was in, and how much energy that they were, taking from me. There was this one girl, a really nice girl, friend girl, but she would always come to me in a very negative mood, saying, I just don't believe I'm going to graduate. I just don't feel like I'm doing well. I'm this, right? And so the encourager in me would just encourage her and say, you're going to make it, you're going to do it, look where you are, right? And so I thought that was enough to tell her, um, to, send her on her way. But then she would come back a month later with the same kind of attitude. I feel bad. I don't think I'm going to make it. I'm not sure this or that, right? And then I will go back into encouraging her, right? That means she's stopping me on my path to give me the same type of attitude or issue that she was having, just for me to now re-encourage her again. When she did it a third time, I said I was done. I knew what she was up to. She was trying to get the positive energy from me for her in that moment, but she was not willing to adopt a strategy long term for herself. So she was looking to me for like a boost or something like that, and I was no longer willing to do that. So I stopped. I got quiet when she would say something. I guess she got hip to it and she stopped doing it. That was a way that I said no, in terms of the first sort of smallest instance, learning how to say no without actually using the word no. Then it progressed into no but. So I might have said no, but then I said something else. And then I would say, but cancels out everything right, said right before. So I had to begin challenging the no but. Then I started to say no with explanation. No, but I can do this, or no, this right here. I can come over there to help you, however way you say it, right? But as I got older and I went through correction, I had a situation where I lost my job, and it was hard to find work, and I was had to move in with my mother for a short time. And she was always the kind of person, actually she is the kind of person who tries to kind of sort of punk you, just try to provoke you. She knows what she's doing. And if I was going to live there, I had to keep my brother's kids or something like that. Well, those are my brother's kids. Here it is, I'm trying to find work, and I'm trying to get my life back together. You want me to keep kids that he can keep for himself. He just want to go out and, date somebody. Okay, that wasn't for me to do. If there was an emergency situation, then that's different. He was going to school at the time too. I don't mind doing that. But it was their way of trying to punk me or something like that. And so when I said no, I said no, I would rather not, right? That's still no with an explanation. And then I had another situation where a person was asking me, for my phone number or something like that, a friend, a coworker, and I said no. I mean, I don't give my number out, right? And that is true, because I can't have problems on my job. But now I've gotten to the point, at 45 years old, it is straight up no. I don't give an explanation. Now, I'm not saying that reveals my total growth, because sometimes I can go back and forth. It just depends on the situation. But I don't do a whole lot of explaining like I used to when I was in my 20s. Sometimes in some situations you may have to explain because you're at your job, right? And a supervisor is asking you a question or something like that. But in other areas of your life, if that person is not on your path, if that person is not part of your goals or something like that, it is a no, period. And again, it takes time. You have to determine what no means for you. But what I'm saying for you and for everyone, just respect your no. Let your yes be your yes, and let your no be your no, and don't go back and forth. Have the courage to say no, and don't cry about it. Don't feel bad about it. That you have every right to say no in that situation. All right, so hopefully you were able to gain insight from this video discussion. Please like, subscribe, and visit. So Please like the video, hit the notification bell for more discussions. I am re-uploading all of my audios, so I needed to make some changes to them. You can visit my website for more content at reginayfavors.com. If you want to send me an email, you can send an email reginayfavors@yahoo.com. Please also purchase the book. It's going to come out in spring 2021, so I had to make changes to my book to update it, and I also updated the title. So the original title was Bait, Hook, and Switch: Confessions of a Rebound Girl, and I have updated the title to Toxic Encounters: Why People Pursue Rebound Relationships. So right now I'm still basically editing it, and I want to make it available in spring 2021. So thank you very much for visiting my channel, and I am Regina Y. Favors. Have a great day.